So you're thinking about taking the leap, huh? Diving into the world of solopreneurship, maybe even shooting for that six-figure dream. Well, you're definitely in the right place because this deep dive, we're digging into some pure gold from someone who went from 0 to 6 figures all on their own.
Absolutely. And let me tell you, this isn't some get-rich-quick scheme. This is the real deal, practical advice, the kind of stuff most entrepreneurs wish they had known when they were starting out.
Totally. And one of the things that struck me right away reading this was how honest it is, Like they don't sugarcoat it. They actually talk about how different the entrepreneurial journey can be from how it looks on Instagram or whatever.
Yeah, like that whole glamorous entrepreneur lifestyle. Yeah, not always the case.
Not always, no. In fact, they even said, and I'm quoting here, the journey isn't as shiny as it looks from the outside.
And it's so easy to get caught up in that, right? The freedom, the flexibility. But people often underestimate just how much work is involved, especially in the beginning when you're handling literally every single part of the business.
Oh, absolutely. Wearing all the hats, sales, marketing, customer service, tech support, you name it. Chances are you are it, at least for a while.
Exactly. And that's something I always try to emphasize to anyone thinking about this path. You have to be honest with yourself. Are you truly passionate about all of that? Or would you thrive more in a role where you can focus your skills and energy on one specific area?
Such a good point. And you know what I love about this source? They actually recommend freelancing first, like a trial run of entrepreneurship.
It's such a smart strategy because you get paid to learn the ropes of your industry. You start building your network. You figure out what clients really want.
You could even line up some clients before you even fully launch.
Exactly. It's like a built-in head start.
And speaking of starting out, this source is brutally honest about the cold start phase. That period where you're putting in the work, but it feels like nothing's really happening.
We've all been there.
They talked about feeling cringy and awkward, like they were doing everything wrong, wondering if they were ever going to get a client. And it took a while. They actually mentioned it took 4 months before landing their first sale. 4 months of hustling, doubting, pushing through.
It takes serious grit and resilience, that's for sure. Most people don't see that part. They see the success story, but not the grind that came before.
It's like an athlete training for months, You don't see the results immediately, but all that effort is building up to something amazing.
I love that analogy because it's so true.
And you know what else they talked about? They were working their corporate job all day, then coming home and working on their business every night and weekend. That's dedication.
It really highlights what it takes to get a business off the ground, especially while you're still working another job. The amount of hustle and sacrifice is real.
It's funny because when you're in those trenches, putting in the work, not seeing the results yet, it can be so easy to want to give up.
Oh, absolutely. That self-doubt creeps in.
Yeah. And that's when your why becomes so important. Why are you doing this? What's pushing you to keep going?
It has to be something bigger than just, I want to be my own boss.
Right. And this entrepreneur, their why, was so simple but powerful. They said, and I'm quoting here, "My why was simple but powerful. I couldn't see myself spending 40 more years doing work I didn't care about."
Wow. I love that.
It's so true. And it's something I always ask aspiring entrepreneurs. What's your why? What's going to fuel you when things get tough?
Because they will get tough.
They will.
And that's also why, as much as we talk about the hustle and all that, having a support system is crucial. Our source talked about how important it was to find their community.
Yes. They said community was everything, especially, in those early days when you're working solo, maybe feeling a little lost.
It can be so isolating.
Right. And so having other people who get it, who understand the unique challenges of building a business.
People who've been there.
Yeah. Exactly. Whether it's online forums, local meetups, a mastermind group, whatever. Having that support system can make a world of difference.
It's like having a team, even when you're working solo.
Oh, I love that. And something else they talked about that I thought was really insightful was the emotional side of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, it's not talked about enough.
It's roller coaster. They even said something like, every success felt amazing, but every failure, it felt so personal, like I was failing.
Yes. It's easy to tie our self-worth to our business's performance, especially when it's something we've poured our heart and soul into.
And so they talked about the importance of detaching, like learning to separate your identity from your business.
So crucial. Yeah. Because if we let every win and loss dictate how we feel about ourselves,
it's exhausting. And honestly, it's not sustainable in the long run. They also talked about decision fatigue, which I thought was so interesting.
Oh, yeah. that feeling of being completely overwhelmed by even small decisions.
They said they would literally be like staring at their closet, unable to choose what to wear.
Been there. And when you're the one making all the decisions for your business on top of everything else,
It's too much.
way too much.
And so they said, for them, a big part of combating decision fatigue was delegation.
Learning to let go of some control. Right.
Because in the beginning, you're the CEO, the CFO,
The chief everything officer.
yes. But as your business grows, you can't keep doing it all yourself.
It's not scalable and it's not good for you.
And so it's about building that team, trusting others, and focusing on the bigger picture.
Becoming more of a visionary, setting the direction, and trusting others to help you get there.
And even more than that, it's about designing a life you love. That's something else they talked about.
Because what's the point of all this, right? The hustle, the sacrifice, if it's not ultimately leading to a life we enjoy.
Right. And that's going to look different for everyone. For some people, it might be more time with family. For others, it might be the freedom to travel or pursue other passions.
Exactly. It's about defining success on your own terms.
Yes. And this deep dive has been such a good reminder of that. Like, it's not just about building a business, it's about building a life. It really is powerful to hear someone say that out loud. You are not your business. It's so easy to get caught in that trap, especially these days when everything's about like hustle culture and measuring success by your net worth and stuff.
Totally. And I think this entrepreneur's journey really highlights that. Like, it's not about being perfect or never making mistakes. It's about how you handle those setbacks, how you treat yourself through the process.
It's about remembering that your worth as a person has nothing to do with how well your business is doing on any given day. And that kind of self-awareness, that self-compassion, I think that's actually key to building a business that, actually brings you joy. Speaking of, they talked about that too, making sure your business enhances your life, not consumes it, which I thought was so important.
Right, because it's easy to get swept up in it all, chasing bigger and better all the time.
Yeah.
But they made this great point. They were saying how they were struggling to choose between like 2 shirts one morning. And they were like, wait a minute, is this what I was going for? This much decision fatigue over everything.
Oh my gosh. I felt that in my soul. It's so easy to end up there though, right?
It really is. Which is why it's so important to be intentional about your why from the very beginning. Like, why are you building this business? What kind of life do you want it to create for you?
Exactly. Is it more time with your family? The flexibility to travel? The ability to pursue other passions? Because success is going to look different for everyone, right?
Absolutely. And it should.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of entrepreneurship. You get to define what success means for you.
I love that. It's such a good reminder because it's easy to get caught up in comparing ourselves to others, chasing someone else's version of success.
Right. And then we end up feeling inadequate or burnt out because we're not living in alignment with our own values and goals.
This deep dive has been amazing. Seriously, it's so packed with wisdom and practical advice, all from someone who's actually walked the walk, built a successful business from the ground up.
Yeah. They really didn't hold back. And I think those real raw insights are what make this so valuable for anyone listening who's thinking about starting their own thing or even just navigating the ups and downs of entrepreneurship right now.
It's like they've given us a roadmap, but not just for building a business, for building a life.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, right?
Absolutely.
This has been incredible. Seriously, so many practical tips, inspiring insights, and it's all thanks to this entrepreneur who was willing to share their journey, their lessons learned so openly and honestly.
Totally. And for everyone listening, remember, you've got this. Building a business, creating a life you love. It's a journey. It's going to have its ups and downs, but you are capable of amazing things.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
This has been another awesome deep dive, and we're already excited for the next one. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep chasing those dreams. We're cheering you on every step of the way.